This is an IGF review of Isle of Arrows, a fusion of board game and tower defense created by Gridpop and available on Steam. And if you want to check out the full review, you can find it on indiegamefans.com. Also, make sure to click like and subscribe for more of our quality, tasteful content. So here's the gist of Isle of Arrows. You're on a cute island surrounded by tranquil clouds. No, you have a fancy yellow crystal. Unfortunately, you also have the invaders, warrior folks dressed in pink that crave the crystal for purposes unknown. Even worse, the invaders get beefier and bigger in numbers with each turn. They will descend upon your precious crystal in waves from their spawn point, swords and shields in tow. Your job is to make their path to the crystal as menacing, confusing, and straight up murderous as possible. If you fail to protect your fancy yellow crystal for too long, you will die, your heart counter whittling down to 1. But no fear, you have lots of crafty ways to protect yourself. You can place more distance between the invaders and your fancy yellow crystal using carefully placed tiles, reminiscent of cute medieval-themed board games like Settlers of Catan. This creates a death labyrinth for the invaders to navigate and, if all goes well, die in. And many towers you will build. Giant hurtling cannons and fancy death monuments that shoot out all manner of pointy things. All your towers and tiles are generated through cards, which you can pick or buy each turn. But here's the catch, the cards are randomly generated. So while you might have a great gleaming death machine construct drawn out in your mind, you are, as the saying goes, getting the cards you're dealt. And not all the tiles are for killing, no. Some of them present handy strategic solutions like expanding your island or generating gold, while others can be placed to buff structures around them for, further bloodshed. In total, there are over 50 tiles to unlock in Isle of Arrows, and while I breathed a heavy sigh of relief as some cropped up after many an appeal to RNGesus, I also spent tons of in-game resources flipping through tiles that weren't fit for my murderous purposes. I found myself caught between constructing the maze-like paths needed to deter the invaders, while also desperately buffering up all my killing towers and trap reserves. And of course, just as I get comfortable, Isle of Arrows generated yet another fancy yellow crystal. And, you guessed it, an invader spawn point a mere 3 spaces away from it. Most fiendish of all, both bases link to the same health pool. So, if you get bashed too many times at both bases simultaneously, you die really fast. The threat level at the second fancy yellow crystal escalated real quick. Now I was overseeing multiple precious fancy yellow crystals and thus constructing a multitude of island-based death machines. As you'd expect, my life plummeted pretty fast, fighting off the enemy on 2 frontiers simultaneously. My prayers and vague, gleaming strategies, as it turns out, could only take me so far. Isle of Arrows is a replayable game, and nothing quite beats looming over your enemies with a powerful tower on high ground, almost touching the clouds. The game is just as much fun as it is horrifyingly difficult. Although I am non-versed in the magical arts of tower defense as a game genre, I found my strategy head and my constant need to kill kicking in, making Isle of Arrows an absolute delight. A murderous delight, in fact. And like any fan of tiny swords, fields, and monuments, I loved watching my adorable labyrinthine death contraptions pick away at the invading hordes as they tried, in vain, to get to my fancy yellow crystal.